Good morning, Saints. I hope you had a fantabulous weekend. I'm Taylor Morehouse.
And I'm Ari Renette.
And this is SFHS Today.
In world news, Somalia, a country of 15 million people, are suffering from a drought that started over 2 years ago, making some places uninhabitable. Somalis say that the current drought is the worst drought they've ever seen, according to AP News.
In national news, within the last 16 years, there have been 665 FBI agents from the United States that have either retired or resigned to avoid accountability due to misconduct. U.S. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley is pressing the FBI for more information about this, according to PBS NewsHour.
In school news, we've come back from having an amazing Spirit Week. Great job dressing up to the coordinating days. Following with the homecoming dance last Saturday, we were there to see the homecoming king and queen crowned, and our reporters got a little more insight on the candidates and how student council puts it all together.
How did setup for this week's homecoming go?
It went pretty good. We got a lot of help with posters and just setting up decorations. Like we have the little swirly things in the lunchroom. I think it went really good. We had a little bit of stress maybe on my end, but I think it went pretty good.
It takes a lot of work. I'm really happy to be doing it with Miss Abraham. She's got more flexibility in her day than I do teaching, so she's very organized, so it was good to do that with another person.
It's been a lot of work, more than I expected, but a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to see how the students show up for homecoming.
Speaking of spirit, after the Pep Band has spent time providing music at games and Pep Fest, this upcoming Thursday, people have the opportunity to hear all the curricular bands play in their first concert at 7 p.m., conducted by band director David Bouchard.
In more school news, our reporters took a closer look at the social studies department with 2 teacher features. This week, we sat down with one of the St. Francis High School's longest employed social studies teacher, Keith Lipinski, as well as the newest member of the team, Thomas Franta.
What year did you start teaching at St. Francis?
I started teaching in St. Francis in 1994, and I kind of had a interesting route to get here. I started teaching in school in 1990 at Butterfield Oden High School in southern Minnesota, and I was down there for a couple years, and then my fiance at that time, and now my wife, of course, Renee, was in the United States Navy. So I ended up down in Texas for a year, coaching down there at Corpus Christi High School. I was a football coach down there, baseball coach, and more importantly taught economics. And then I ended up out on the East Coast. I was at North Stafford High School, where I taught and coached out there for a year. So that was in Virginia. And so I got here in 1994.
What did you do before coming to St. Francis High School?
Before I came to St. Francis High School, I've been teaching for about 30 years right now. I taught at Irondale High School for 25 years, and then I was up in Black Duck, Minnesota by Bemidji for the last 2 years teaching middle school. And so I'm really happy to be out of the middle school and up at St. Francis. It's a great opportunity to be here for me.
What made you want to become a teacher?
You know, I've always had an interest in history since I was in about the 2nd or 3rd grade, and that was always an interest for me. And I think there's a lot of times there's things in life that lead you in a certain direction. And for me, I was walking out of football practice one day, and a football coach said I had been recruited for college football. And that kind of led me in that direction to think about college, my love of American history, and also, of course, of sports, and which eventually got me to where I am today.
How do you like teaching here?
Teaching's great. So far, the students have been excellent. Again, I'm comparing them to last year's middle schoolers, so it's really awesome. I've got juniors and seniors, they're awesome, hard workers, respectful. I really appreciate that. Staff is awesome. The social studies department rocks, and they're full of positive energy and vigor, and I appreciate that as well.
What are some of your hobbies outside of school?
I like to be very active. I am a sports official. I officiate football. I've been doing that for almost 40 years. I officiate track and field. I used to coach. I love to go into the outdoors and be with nature, hunting, fishing, taking pictures. My students get to see some of my pictures throughout the trimester that I've taken. So.
You know, if I had to look back on my years, and you know, it's of course gone fast. It's been, of course, some 32 years. I think working with kids is number one, and number two, my colleagues. I mean, we have such a fun time, and we really enjoy what we're doing in the social studies area, and the staff at St. Francis has been great. I love working with the staff, and also, of course, the coaches' relationship throughout the years, whether that be wrestling or football, for me has probably been the most enjoyable two aspects of my career.
Thanks to reporters Kylie, Kayla, Brooke, Taylor, and Carter for getting us information on the Social Studies Department.
In club news, NHS held its induction a few weeks ago, and a few members of our crew went out and got some more information on how NHS is starting its school year.
How many people were inducted?
We inducted 36 new members this year to NHS.
What were the highlights of induction night?
I think the highlights of induction are just bringing the new students into NHS, but then also Miss Pequay spoke this year, which is really nice to hear her encouragement to our students. And overall, it's just a nice night to honor those kids that work really hard on their grades and just being leaders in our school.
Another organization is also ramping up its plans for this school year. Raylan Putnam and Joshua Sparts spoke with Haley Daigle and some students to gain more information on the American Indian education.
What is Apex?
So our program is the American Indian Education Program. It's district-wide.
What's your favorite part about being in APEC?
My favorite part is getting closer to my culture and doing all the fun activities.
Why do you think we should keep this tradition going?
I think it's nice that it's a safe space for kids to learn about their Native American background.
Native cultures are so rich, and there's so much that can be learned from the Native cultures. Our students are really proud of their heritage, and I think by us having this program, it's a great way for our students to feel proud of who they are and accepted, while we can help educate others on the Native community.
It brings the community together and teaches young kids about their culture.
I would love for people to stop by. You don't have to be a Native student to swing by and see our resources, learn how to do some of the crafts that we have. Last year I had a lot of people coming in during Saints time, especially, and we would work on beading together, like beading looms, and it's just a really fun way to learn more about the culture and get to know each other a little bit better.
Thank you two for helping us get a better understanding. Last Wednesday, the seniors who are on Outdoor Adventure went on a field trip going canoeing the St. Croix River. Few of the seniors that went took some pictures and videos for us all to see.
Hi, I'm Amen.
And I'm Brayden.
And I'm Colin, and we're going canoeing.
What was the canoeing trip about?
So the canoe trip is for our senior outdoor adventures class, where they practice going canoeing at Lake George, and then we take them on a field trip down by Taylor's Falls and down the St. Croix for about a 2.5-hour canoe trip.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun. We did some hiking too in the beginning. A few of us fell in, got in the water, got a little dirty. You know, Nick tapped us out taking out people's canoes. It's a pretty fun, it's a real good field trip.
Did a lot of canoeing, played some bumper boats. And things escalated quickly. A few people got wet, but we managed to stay dry.
We stopped for a little bit of lunch halfway through, and that's about it.
It went awesome. We had a ton of people going. They were all having a lot of fun, and it was gorgeous weather and gorgeous scenery, and it was probably one of the best canoe trips we've had in a long time.
And we're off.
Now let's pass it over to sports.
Hey Saints, I'm Michaela Rothbauer.
And I'm Easton Johnson.
And this is Sports.
In national news, the Panthers fired their head coach Matt Rule after a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Rule only won 10 games in his 2 NFL seasons.
In school sports, the football team had a big homecoming win over Sauk Rapids, 28-25, improving their record to 6-0. The football team also helps out the community by reading to elementary schoolers and feeding the staff. Reports went out to get the scoop on homecoming and the game.
How do you and the coaching staff feel the football season has been going?
So we think the football season has been going really, really well. We have an incredible senior class that is showing a tremendous amount of leadership both on and off the field. We also have noticed that this senior class has put so much into their well-being as academics, and they're changing their body, the way they think, their demeanor and their character, and that is directly correlated to a very successful season.
What does the football team do off the field?
Last Friday, we fed breakfast to the entire staff of the high school. We read at the elementary school to kind of give back and kind of show our program in a positive fashion.
In 2017, we started our elementary reading program. Well, it's a great service opportunity for our football players, but it's also a great opportunity for them to get out into their elementary schools, see their former teachers, model a love of reading, and also offer some mentorship to those elementary students.
I like going back and seeing all the smiles on their faces. I mean, the teacher told us that they've been looking forward to it all week, so it was fun to just go back and see them have a smile on their face.
And we do a lot of stuff with like the youth teams where our players are asked to go and coach and ref and do all of that stuff along the lines to better not just themselves but everybody else around them.
Girls soccer had a tough loss on senior night. They lost 3-5 against the Providence Lions.
After the boys soccer team won the conference championship title, they had a tough week last week, losing all 3 of their games, along with a few key injuries.
The volleyball team won last Thursday on senior night in 3 sets. Before we go back to Maine, the fall dance team has a tradition of putting together a guy-girl dance. Reporters got some interviews and footage of the dance.
How many years have you been a part of it?
All 3 years of my high school.
This is my first year.
My first year.
I've done it every year of high school except during COVID, so 3.
You enjoy guy girl?
I do. It's pretty fun. Good guys that do it.
Yeah, it's something new. It's pretty fun.
That's fun, and it's good to bond with the other students.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Can you show us a few moves?
You guys are gonna have to wait for Pet Fest to see those.
We do a nice little kick. The guy's the sprinkler.
That's all we have this week.
Back to Maine.
We're back with Whip of the Week this week. Easton, Alec, and Joe searched the student parking lot for us.
Welcome to this week's episode of Whip of the Week. Ty Pearson with the 2013 Scion FRS. I got it about August 1st of this year.
Is there anything you want to do performance-wise to your car?
I'd like to turbo it later on, maybe wide body it.
And is there any cool features or anything that is on the car, in the car?
I put a new stereo system and I put 2 10-inch subs.
And then is this a manual or an automatic?
It's a manual, 6-speed.
Thank you, Tyler, for making an appearance in the news. That's all we got for you guys this week.
Stay safe, Saints.